Welcome back to Talking Success. I'm your host Kenidy with my co-host
Davion.
And today we're talking about leasing versus buying a car. We're going to get into the pros and cons of both, but before we do that, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, and follow us on our socials in the description.
With that being said, let's get right into it. So you have the age-old question, which is better, renting versus buying a car? And to be honest, I'll just get straight to the point here. It all just depends on your financial situation and what you're able to do at that moment. But if you want a more in-depth description about what the pros are, what the cons are, and just what it's looking like, stay tuned for more.
Let's start with owning and buying a car. Basically, with buying a car, you can pick any car that you would like, versus with leasing, you're more than likely getting a new or newer car. When it comes to buying and owning, though, you're more than likely going to finance the car. What is financing?
Financing is when you take the cost of your car minus your down payment, and then you get a loan which you'll pay off over a period of time, typically between 48 and 60 to 72 months. Those are the most common.
Then when you take state sales tax on top of your purchase, you also have to pay that as well. Once you factor in all those and you pay off the car, it is yours, you own it. It is yours to either keep and use however you please, or you can sell it.
This does come with a couple of downsides. One being, if the vehicle is under warranty, then you're going to have to pay all the maintenance fees for the vehicle. You're also going to have to pay sales tax at the beginning of the purchase, as well as you're going to have a higher monthly payment than if you were to lease. So when you factor in all these things, you may see it to be a kind of a waste of money to go and finance a vehicle.
On to leasing. Leasing normally works for the people who like to have newer cars every few years. So, depending on how long you want to keep your car, leasing could actually save you money. With leasing, you pay a down payment, then you'll have typically about a 24 to 36 month payment period. On top of these monthly payments, you have a maximum amount of miles that you can accumulate on the vehicle every year. If you go over these miles, it could result in, extra fees and payments. So the best thing to do is to try to stay under those.
Now with leasing, you don't have to pay all the sales tax up front, which can save you a ton of money over time. But what they do is, I said do. Now with leasing, you don't have to pay the full sales tax up front, which can save you a ton of money. The lease is determined by the amount the car is going to depreciate during your ownership, as well as some finance charges. So with leasing, you're basically just paying the depreciation of the car on a monthly basis, which is going to save you a lot more money and give you a lower payment because, like I just said, you're just paying the depreciation. And typically a lease only runs for about 3 years. So at the end of the day, it's going to save you a lot more money than owning a car because you're only financing the depreciation of the vehicle instead of owning the whole entire thing. Also, maintenance is typically covered as well, so you don't even have to worry about the normal wear and tear that you have to deal with during the ownership of the vehicle. And you don't even have to sell it because you'll just give it right back to the dealership at the end of your lease.
So, all in all, there are disadvantages and advantages to both buying and leasing cars. If you plan on keeping the car for more than 5 years, at that point it is probably best to buy it. Anything less, probably best to lease it.
Especially if you're like me and put a ton of miles on the vehicle. I'm always driving somewhere, somehow, for some reason. It probably is going to be best for you to own that vehicle instead because you have a set amount of miles that you have to have for the lease.
And if you're like me, that doesn't like to drive that much and doesn't plan on having a car for that long, it would be better to lease it. But if you want the privilege of owning a new car every few years, leasing is definitely the way to go, especially because you only have to worry about your monthly payments, and those monthly payments are basically the depreciation of the car. And you're not dealing with the wholesale tax of the vehicle as well, versus when you're buying it.
So for a person that just needs a vehicle to get from point A to point B, it honestly might just be the most financially sane thing to do is just to get a car that's about 3 to 5 years old. And that's because after 5 years, most vehicles depreciate at a much slower rate. So with that pace, all you have to really worry about is just buying maintenance fees, and you may accumulate a lot of those because the vehicle's old. It's about 3 to 5 years old on top of the 4 or 5 years that you're going to add onto it from owning the vehicle. So what you want to do is when you buy this vehicle, you want to buy it at a low interest rate if you are going to finance it fully, or if you're just going to buy it in cash, don't worry about it. But like I said, if you're financing, get it at a low interest rate. And then when it finally falls apart because you've had it for 9 years, then you just sell it and go through the whole process again. Nice, clean, quick, and easy. There are plenty of people that are out here looking for vintage cars or older starter vehicles for their teenage sons and daughters or whatever they like to go by. We don't judge here.
Safe zone.
But yeah, so with leasing or buying, they both have the pros and cons. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it literally just depends on the situation that you are in and what works best for you.
So, with that being said, that's pretty much it for buying versus leasing a car. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what we should talk about next for the Talking Success episodes. If you haven't already, go watch our last one. I miss anything?
Follow us on our social medias. Any additional links or anything like that we forgot to mention will be in the description.
See you in the next one.
Yep.